In the previous chapters you learned to manage processes, signals, and services with systemd. A running service almost always listens on the network, so the next logical step is to inspect the local network configuration and the network activity of your Linux machine. This is essential in cybersecurity. Before testing an application or defending a system, you must know which network interfaces exist, which addresses are configured, which ports are open, and which processes are behind those ports. This chapter covers the three fundamental command line tools for this: IP, SS, and netstat. Understanding the vocabulary first. A network interface is a connection point of the machine to a network. Common names are LO, the loopback interface, always the address 127.0.0.1, used for local communication inside the machine, ETH0 or ENS33, a wired Ethernet interface, and VLAN 0, a wireless interface. An Internet Protocol address, IP address, identifies the machine on the network, for example 192.168.1.20. A port is a number between 0 and 65,535 that identifies a specific service on a machine. For example, port 22 for Secure Shell, SSH, port 80 for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP, and port 443 for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, HTTPS. A socket is the combination of an IP address and a port, together with a protocol such as Transmission Control Protocol, TCP, or User Datagram Protocol, UDP. The IP command. The IP command is the modern tool to display and configure interfaces, addresses, and routes. It replaces older tools like ifconfig and root. It is organized into objects, and you type IP followed by an object and an action. IP address show, or the short form IPA, lists all interfaces with their IP addresses. You will see each interface with a state such as UP or down, its assigned addresses, and its hardware, MAC, address. IP link show, or IPL, displays interfaces at the link layer, showing whether they are up or down in their media access control address. IP route show, or IPR, displays the routing table, which tells the system where to send packets. The line starting with default indicates the default gateway, meaning the router used to reach the outside world, for example, default via 192.168.1.1 dev/eth0. IP neighbor show, or IPN, shows the neighbor table, which maps IP addresses to hardware addresses on the local network. This is the modern equivalent of the older ARP command. You can also modify configuration temporarily. Changes are lost after reboot unless saved in configuration files. IP link set eth0 up brings an interface up. IP link set eth0 down brings it down. IP address add 192.168.1.50 out of 24 dev eth0 assigns an address to an interface. The notation /24 is a subnet mask in prefix form. It means the first 24 bits identify the network. A /24 corresponds to the mask 255.255.255.0. The SS command. The SS command means socket statistics. It is the modern replacement for netstat and is faster because it reads kernel information directly. Its main use is to see which sockets are open, in which state, and which local and remote addresses are involved. The most useful options are single letters that you often combine. T shows Transmission Control Protocol sockets. U shows User Datagram Protocol sockets. L shows only listening sockets, meaning services waiting for incoming connections. N shows numeric addresses and ports instead of resolving names, which is faster and clearer. P shows the process, program name and identifier that owns the socket. This usually requires root privileges to see all processes. A shows all sockets, both listening and connected. A very common and important command is ss-tolnp. This combines TCP, UDP, listening only, numeric, and process information. It answers the crucial security question: which ports are open on my machine and which programs open them? For example, a line might show listen on 0.0.0.0:22 with the process SSHD, meaning the Secure Shell server is listening on all interfaces on port 22. The address 0.0.0.0 means the service listens on every interface, so it is reachable from outside the machine. The address 127.0.0.1 means it listens only on loopback, so it is reachable only from the machine itself. This distinction is critical. A database listening on 127.0.0.1 is far safer than one listening on 0.0.0.0.0. Understanding socket states. When you list TCP sockets, you will see states that describe the connection lifecycle. The most important are: listen, the socket is waiting for incoming connections. A server is running. Established. An active connection is open between two machines. Time_wait. A connection has just closed and the system waits briefly before releasing it. SYN_sent and SYN_recf. Connection setup is in progress. Close_wait. The remote side closed but the local application has not yet closed its side. The netstat command. The netstat command is the older, classic tool. It is still widely present and you must know it, but on modern systems SS is preferred. Netstat is part of the NetTools package, which may need to be installed. Its options are very similar to those of SS. Netstat T for TCP, U for UDP. Netstat L for listening sockets. Netstat N for numeric output. Netstat P to show the owning process. Netstat A for all sockets. Netstat R to display the routing table. So netstat TLNP gives roughly the same output as SS TLNP. Remember the relationship, SS replaces netstat, and IP replaces ifconfig and route. Why this matters for security. These tools are your first step in reconnaissance and hardening. By listing listening ports you discover the attack surface of a machine, meaning every way it can be reached from the network. An unexpected open port may reveal a forgotten service, a backdoor, or a misconfiguration. By linking ports to processes with P you identify exactly which program to investigate, stop, or reconfigure. By reading the routing table you understand how traffic leaves the machine. During a penetration test you use these commands after gaining access to a machine to map its network position and find pivot opportunities. As a defender you use them to verify that only intended services are exposed. Practical checklist to remember. To see your addresses, IPA. To see your routes and default gateway, IPR. To see open listening ports with their processes, SS TLNP. To see all active connections, SS TAN. The equivalent legacy command, netstat TLNP. Loopback 127.0.0.1 means local only. 0.0.0.0 means exposed to all interfaces. Mastering IP, SS, and netstat gives you a clear, immediate picture of the network reality of any Linux system, which is the foundation for both attacking and defending it.